Hello, and welcome back to the Wellness Arts Cafe. I am Patricia C. Coleman, and I am a descendant of March Panel. I acknowledge and honor the Miamiyake, Lenape, Bodwe Wadamik, and Sawanwa people on whose ancestral lands I reside. Right now, like so many other folks out here in America and really across the globe, are really angry, frustrated, and bothered by the blatant racism and the intentional destruction of organizations and support resources for the children, the elderly, the veterans, for all the people in this country. My heart believes that we will get beyond all of this in what I'm calling insanity, and we will get back to really standing with our democracy. We will have leaders who continue to support Head Start. We will not accept the SAVE Act. Why would women choose to lose their vote after working so hard to gain it? It's just, I've been told that this is all a part of Project 2025, and I just see it as something that, given my choices, I flush it down the toilet. I send it to the place of quicksand, because quicksand will suck it in and keep it down. We need people like the 14,000 people who came out for AOC and Bernie, standing up for democracy. We need people standing up for decency, honor, and goodness. And I believe that America will show up to support that. Now, I am going to be telling two stories. The first story is called Elderberry Tale. Elderberry Tale is based on an assumption that I made. I could be totally wrong, yet this is my perception. Years ago, a person not far from my home had a very tall stand of elderberries growing, and when they were in full berry, just ready for picking, I decided one day to stop by and asked if I might pick some of those berries. The woman in that home said, "Oh yes, go ahead and pick the berries." So I did. I gathered enough berries to make a few pints of elderberry jam. I was going to drop a couple of jars off to her, yet, and I know this is supposition on my part, the next time I drove by her house, she had completely removed all of the elderberries. And it's a couple of years later now, as I'm telling this, and those elderberries have never been allowed to return. I took it as a message that my coming and getting berries was not something these people ever wanted to experience again. And I'm sorry for those people. I'm sorry that they live in a world where they destroy things because other people are appreciating them. Well, I could cry, I could rant, I could rave, and instead I am telling these two stories, and I hope that you listen till the end so that you get the gist of the contrast between these two stories, which to me represent clearly two faces of America. I choose the second story going forward. It is an empowering story for the people in our country. It is something to hold on to and take forward. May that be so. May that be so. The second story goes back to 30 years ago, and I'm talking in a rural red state. We moved to an area, and the neighbor generously offered me the use of an old garden, knowing that I was very much interested in gardening. So one day I was standing in that big garden space, which had not been used for a number of years, and really overgrown, plants almost as tall as me. And so I'm standing out there wondering where to begin. And one of my children comes over to me and says that a neighbor had just driven in. So I went around to see what was going on. Well, the neighbor across the street from me had seen me standing there in that overgrown garden area. And they drove around to me and asked if they could come over and plow and till that spot up for me. They did not know me. Clearly looking at me, they were aware that I was a brown person in a mostly non-brown area, or non-brown people area. Well, this neighbor came over in his human generosity and offered a gift to me. I accepted that gift. A couple of hours later, he returned with his tractor in tow and made short work of the space that it would have taken me alone weeks to get into a plantable state. And so often I think of Mr. Hunter and his internal beauty, that he was a real person. He didn't look out and say, oh, look at that black lady over there and all that mess she's got to contend with. Instead, he looked out and he saw a neighbor, and he came forth to support his neighbor. That was another of the awesome gifts that I have received from some people. Yes, I have experienced quite a bit of negativity in my life, but that's not the story that I lead with ever. People who have been experiencing racism are aware of the blatant racism that is going on in America. And I'm telling these two stories to share that you can be in a very small area in America and you can have different points of view. You can have people having different ways of being in the world. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Thank you, Hunter's family. Thank you to all the people out there who see humans and are connecting with other humans. To all the people out there who consider themselves Christians, may you actually embrace the words of Christ and know that we are all God's children. And going forward, we here in America will have the challenging conversations, that we will and are showing up to say that we want an America that truly lives up to our Constitution, and we, the people, stand with that. In light, in love, in respect and appreciation, I hope that you've stayed to listen to my stories and my words, and I do hope that if you're not a subscriber, to please subscribe so that the next time I post something, you can see it. Also, I really do want to hear your comments. I do want to have your questions. I want to hear how you are responding to what I am posting.